Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Tablet Inc. This is the very first video, so thank you for tuning in. I'm a developer and a designer by trade, but I recently stumbled across animation. I've been drawing probably about 6 months now, just doodling every day, little bits here and there. But I've never really got into the animation because of how time consuming it is, or has been for me. So having done a little bit of research, I found that I could create what's called a character rig in something called Toon Boom. So I did a bit more research, watched some more tutorials on the topic, and I sort of feel competent enough now, having spent a few hours in the program, and I'm still using the trial at the moment, but I kind of wanted to document my progress as I'm starting to understand it a little bit more, and I'd like to document it from start to finish and see where we get. My idea is to focus on one character and one character alone and flesh out a rig over the course of a few months, maybe even longer, however long it takes. So today I want to show you what I did last night, and that is a head essentially with rigged eyes and eyelids and a mouth. I actually managed to do the lip sync, so I'll go into how I did that as well. And yeah, without further ado, I'll show you what equipment I'm using. So obviously I've mentioned that I'm using Toon Boom. I'm on the Essentials one, just a trial for now, and that is $205 a year if you are to purchase it. So we'll see how I get on over the next 18 days, and if I think it's worth what I get out of it, then I'll certainly buy it. I'll let you know. In terms of what I'm using to draw, pen and paper to start with, obviously, but then when we get into the software, I'm using a UG M708. It was about £55 off Amazon. Comes with a stylus and some keys that you can program for the brush, undo, things like that are quite useful. It also has 2 buttons on the actual pen itself, which is useful for the eraser. If you click, you can program that so that it's the eraser. But yeah, nothing fancy. I would love to buy one of the high-end ones, but I can't justify the cost. Maybe if I'm doing a lot more of this in a year's time, I'll look at purchasing something that's going to work. But also it should give you guys confidence if you've never done it before, to kind of, it's a smaller outlay to see if you like the topic, the hobby. So yeah, without further ado, let's go straight in. And so this is the guy that I drew last night, and if we press play.
This is just a quick test. See how we're getting on with the lip sync in Toon Boom. I thought maybe we'd tell a joke or something just to get off.
So you can see what I've managed to do is bring into some facial expressions and basically lip sync and bring some eye movement in, some head tilt, just to create a more realistic feeling character. And it's still way off. This is my first ever attempt at creating a character, so I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, I'll run you through how this has all been put together, and this took me about 3 hours, believe it or not. I'm hoping to get a little bit quicker as we move on. So I've turned scrubbing off, and essentially down here we've got all the individual pieces, so you can see the lines under the eyes, let's go to a frame that's got them all on. So the right lid, the left lid, and bear in mind there might be better ways to do what I've done. I've come in at this as a complete novice to the software, so if you do see something that I can do more efficiently, please do leave a comment. So I've got right pupil, left pupil, the right eye, the left eye. So all these are drawn on separate layers, and this is the time-consuming part, really. The hat, and what I've done is I've thrown all of these layers under something that's called a peg. So when you add a peg, essentially everything will move with this peg now, and that peg can have its own timeline. So for example here, you can see this peg is moving. These are keyframes, this square and this square. So that's the keyframe, and that's the keyframe. All I've done is literally just, if I go on to this tool, which is the transform tool, if I was to do this and go really crazy, you'd see, you know, the computer's just going to animate that for me instead of having to do those frames individually. Obviously, I would never... We want things to look realistic, but it allows us to just tilt the head back and forth, as you can see, sort of returning to its original position there on that little bit. And putting it in line with the text, so with the vocal. So what I tend to do is leave the scrubbing on, and I try and match it up. From what I've seen other people do, it seems to be the right thing to do. So yeah, essentially what I've managed to do is build my character and put it all under a peg. And then in the timeline, I've extended everything to the end of the audio, which is, all I did was highlight all, Command A, I'm on a Mac, and then I just hit F5 and it tells you which frame to extend to. So I just extended it all the way when I'm saying extend. Otherwise, if you don't extend it, you end up with all your frames just taking up one frame, obviously. So there's things that are going to be there forever. I will just throw out the whole way, all the way to the end. Now, the interesting one for me, the thing that I did first, once I'd actually drawn all these in, I'd actually put in the 8 mouthpieces. So on each frame, I was told to kind of put a different mouthpiece in each frame. Now, this is obviously doesn't have them in anymore because I've overwritten them. But each one of these had a mouth shape, and what we can do is go to layer properties. We should, is it in here? I might be chatting. Where is it? Let me have a look. I could... Yeah, I'm sure it was in layer properties. But it might not. Well, it obviously isn't in layer properties, is it? So let's have a look. It's got to be in some... Oh, it's in library. I am very sorry. That took far too long. But yeah, essentially under library, if we open this out, you can see here we've got a little mouth. And it does this automatically, I've got to say. So if I create... let me just show you really quickly. If I create a new drawing layer, so drawing layers are anything, all of these are drawing layers, and everything will be a drawing layer. Every individual thing that you make will be a drawing layer. So this drawing layer has gone up below the color card, which we don't want. So if I just bring up the brush tool now and just draw some stuff and then go to the next frame, draw something else, go to the next frame, draw something else, you can see now I've got these 3 frames. Now in here I can actually choose which one I want. So originally, before I'd actually done this mouth one, I'd put the 8 mouth styles, which you can find on Toon Boom's website. I put the 8 mouth styles back to back in here, so there was 8 different frames. And then what I did, obviously you can go through manually and get every single sound in there because there's a mouth for every sound. So that's on 6 now, but I could change it to any of those that I wanted to. You can see over here S, L's, E's, A's, F, V, U, Q, M, B, and some others, and just an extra mouth to throw in there, because I wanted this particular character to be down but become upbeat as soon as he started talking. So that was the reason for the additional mouth in this particular case. So once you've built those, it is just a case of going over to your audio, and you essentially auto lip sync detect. It'll go off. When you click that, it just quickly counts to 100%, does some stuff, and then you come back and you do map lip sync, and you pick the mouth layer, and then you have to assign all these mouths with your mouth. So you can see how mine were all numbered 1 to 8 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So essentially what you have to do is you have to go in here, lip sync, map lip sync, and you have to map them all so, you know, you've got them all, so they're all corresponding with the images. Then it'll go away and it'll compile and basically throw out loads of different mouths. And what I've found is it's okay to get like the pauses right and to get the blocks of speech well, but it doesn't do very well at the articulation and the pronunciation of the face, and it doesn't quite match. So you do have to go in and manually refine it, which took me about half an hour for 20 seconds. And again, I'm hoping to get quicker. This was night one using the software. So on top of that, once I'd got the speech aligned with, once I got the speech down and I was happy with it, I was watching it and the head wasn't moving and the eyes weren't moving and it just seemed a little bit flat. So I did a bit of Googling and then I found out to just kind of use some eye movement, so almost like he's looking down. So what you can see here, we've got a right and a left pupil keyframe. All I've done on these two keyframes is done this transform again and just pulled them down, and then the computer will just do the rest for me. So, and then when we got to there, I also tilted the head using the head peg, which contains all of this. So you can see here there's a slight tilt, very quick, just a frame tilt, so there's no tweening or anything involved. And then from there, I repeat. Now this is something that you guys might know how to do better, but essentially, in order to stop it tweening, like creating new frames in here of animation, say if I had moved something here, if I actually moved this here, you'll see, can you see it's actually animating it to that point. So to prevent that sort of thing from happening, what I do is I copy this keyframe and I chuck it here where I want the next one to start, so that there's just no, so it's static in this period. And I'm sure there's a way to do it and I'll find it out at some point, but yeah, that's how I'm getting around that at the moment. So yeah, once I started to add these head wobbles and eyelid movements, so when he was emphasizing any words, I brought back the eyelids and then introduced them again once they'd finished the particular sentence, what they were trying to emphasize. All that kind of built up over the evening, and I could start to see how it's the little details that really bring out mannerisms of a character, or just bring it to life a little bit more than just the lip sync feature, which is all I set out to do last night, was just get the lip sync going. And yeah, I stayed up pretty late. But tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this video together and put that out, and then start working on tomorrow's video, which is essentially going to be, there's a few more, probably about 10 more seconds of audio that I'd like to finish off for this particular clip, because it cuts off in a really odd place. So I've got 10 more seconds to get done for that. And then I want to start looking at background and lighting and foreground. So I want to actually paint a bit more of a scene in this particular case. This is the character I'll be working with. If you've got any name suggestions, brilliant. I have not named him yet, and he has a southern accent, obviously, but everything else is up for grabs, really. Yeah, it's going to be defined along the way. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting on it tonight. So you will see that video tomorrow, once I've sort of gone through this process again. I'm going to go through it every night. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and if you liked it, hit the subscribe button and the like button, in that order. And yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.